Catching up with Kevin O'Leary. Kevin, you have organized some event here, 3 Sharks in a Castle.
Yep.
You've rounded up Mark, you've rounded up Barbara. What can we expect tonight?
Well, the 3 of us have never actually been together on a stage in Canada before. This is a very rare opportunity to see Mark Cuban in Canada, because I don't think he's spoken here ever. And obviously, we want to celebrate entrepreneurship and at the same time give back. This event is really about charity, because the tickets are expensive. They're $2,000, but everybody that buys one, I'm gifting to the charity of their choice. So we have a plethora of different charities, all kinds. The one that's really captured the imagination of the ticket buyers has been the Canadian Olympic Foundation, because I'm matching for that. That helps our young athletes. This is a really important cause because it tries to identify Canadians that have the potential to medal 5 to 8 years from now. So that's what great countries do in developing their sports. But not only do I match it, the federal government matches it. So a ticket buyer here that chooses the Canadian Olympic Foundation is really helping Canadian Olympians.
Looking to raise at least $500,000, right?
We're hoping to do even more than that if we can. So, you know, we're having a great event here. We've got all kinds of wonderful sponsors. Liberty has sponsored this wonderful castle. You know, Diageo the liquor, Vive Clicquot the champagne, and of course that marvelous wine company, O'Leary Fine Wines.
Of course, right? One of the best wines out there right now. Kevin, we know how you invest in the tank. Tell us a little bit about what you're liking in your private life. How does Kevin O'Leary invest?
Well, I'm very interested in entrepreneurship. So even beyond the Shark Tank deals, I do invest in a lot of small private companies. I'm also very interested in the concept of Canada remaining competitive, which has got me very concerned these days, because I'm watching direct investment in Canada not go down, it's completely collapsing. So we find ourselves in a very uncompetitive situation since the US dropped its corporate tax to 21%, and then all of a sudden also gave capital cost allowance acceleration. So if you're doing a large project, you don't do it in Canada anymore. It's not the place to invest.
I want to dig a little deeper down, because it's down over 53%. Right. So do you think that Canada's, or the average Canadian has, you know, taken notice yet? Have we sounded the alarm sufficiently enough here?
No, these kinds of issues don't manifest themselves until something very specific happens. First, the country's GDP slows down, and then there's no job creation, because in order to create jobs, you need both small and large businesses investing. And when you see the collapse that's occurring now, it's going to manifest itself next year into a slowdown in jobs. And people graduating from McGill and Waterloo and U of T, they're going to have a hard time finding good jobs here because the capital is pursuing opportunities elsewhere. The thing about money I've learned over decades is it has no political affiliation. It doesn't care. It looks for the path of least resistance. And that path is no longer in Canada. We all of a sudden, through remarkable, just one swipe of the pen, have become the most expensive tax jurisdiction in North America. The highest corporate tax, the highest carbon tax, the highest personal tax. We don't need to be the lowest tax, we just need to be competitive. This isn't even a political situation anymore, it's incredibly bad policy. So I would ask on a bipartisan basis for the leaders of Canada to wake up and smell the roses, because the money's leaving town.
Is it safe to say that Canada's headed towards a recession?
It's not in a recession yet, but it's probably going to, if this keeps up, in other words, if we don't fix it. I was stunned at the recent federal budget that we didn't immediately match the corporate tax rate. That's dumb. That's just dumb. We've always been competitive on corporate tax rates, even if our personal taxes were higher. But to be higher on every tax means you don't get money. And this isn't, you know, what I think. What matters is what the money thinks. Just watch the money flowing out of Canada by the billions.
Well, how can we bring that energy back into Canada?
We need leadership that understands the only thing that matters is a buoyant economy first, and all good things flow from that. The social net comes from that. All the wonderful things we do in healthcare in Canada comes from that. We need a growing economy.